Hey guys, it's me, Brandon, and I know it's 20 degrees here, but I'm about to take you for a ride on a beautiful 2003 266 Crownline.
What it really means to live life golden.
First thing you do before you put your boat in the water is to put your plug in underneath the outdrive. If you don't put your plug in, your boat could possibly sink. Second thing you do, when you back the boat into the water, you just want to back it in far enough till you see the rear end of your boat float. Once it floats, you know that's good enough. From that point, you're going to come back here in the engine compartment, turn your battery switch on. So you have dual batteries with a switch right here. And there's positions that say to, all, on, and off. When we go boating, we turn that switch to all. The alternator is going to charge all the batteries. If we're going to cove out, drop anchor, listen to radio, switch it to 1 or 2. When we're done for the day, shut it off. So then, this boat is fuel injected, multi-port injected amazingness. So we don't have to choke or prime it. All we do to start it is turn the key. It fires right up. Three things if a boat won't start. I'll include a link in the description down below in the video. So now, driving the boat, we got tilt steering. I've had a lot of people, when they're excited to drive, as they accelerate, they have their thumb on the trim up button. If the drive comes out of the water, boat's not going to go anywhere. So once you get out in the water a little bit, you go ahead and trim her down. But shifting with the Bravo 3 is real smooth. You have a button to release it and a definitive catch for forward. That's idle forward, okay? You only have to touch a button when you engage into gear. Reverse, opposite way. Just like so. Okay? Definitive catch, throttle range beyond that. Okay? So never go from forward to reverse in one continuous motion with high RPMs. Stop and let your RPMs die down a little bit. Okay? So your kill switch is right here. Buttons and switches. You got blower. That ventilates the engine compartment, and yes, it works. Navigation lights if you're driving at night. That's the red and green up front, and the white light that plugs in the back. In the middle's off, all the way back. Stopped at night, that's anchor light. Bilge pump's automatic. You'll probably never use it, but that's how you turn it on. Courtesy lights are inside the boat. Horn, right there. Panel lights are behind the gauges. Accessory, God knows, sometimes you don't even know till night which ones they are. Your radio's right here. Works good. Turn that back down. So you have your blower here. Now you should ventilate the engine compartment anytime you're at idle speed. It's a bad habit of mine not to use it unless the boat's carbureted. I only use mine if the boat's carbureted or after I get gas, because a multi-port injected engine runs very clean and smooth. Looking at our gauges, we're coming up to temp. Our volts are good, our oil pressure is good. We're not going fast enough to get any speed on the speedometer, but we'll accelerate in a moment. Our tachometer, our fuel, our trim gauge, and our depth finder. So let's check this trim gauge. Trim gauge works, that's going up, that's going down. I'll put a link in the description that explains how to operate tilt and trim. It's kind of a how-to video if anyone's excited to watch that one. Okay, so now we're at the no-wake buoys. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the camera from Billy and I'm going to accelerate the boat, get it onto plane, trimmed all the way down. When you take off, you always want your trim down. The propellers are actually pushing water this way, keeping the boat nose pushed down. So when I reach our top end, trim down, then I'll trim up. As I trim up, it allows the rear end of the boat to release the front to get up on top of the water and really take off so we can see our top speed. we may not reach our absolute top speed today. A lot of boat people say boats love cold water. That's true in regards to top speed. However, if the thermostat never opens up all the way, we'll never reach our top speed. I'm also going to open up GPS on my phone, and I'll record that and stick it in the video. You'll see it. Okay? So now I'm going to take that from Billy, and we're going to take off. Shut her off for a second. Alright, now I'm showing our gauges working. We're about to take off here. Idle's good, sounds good, fired right up. So we got tilt steering, so we can set that wherever you'd like it. Right here. So again, our speed hasn't picked up to see our speedometer and tachometer. However, since it's freezing cold, the little hole fills up, so we probably won't be able to see the speedometer unless we ran it for quite a while. So right here, as we accelerate, the Bravo 3 sets the boat right on plane, but this boat planes easily. Hitting about 2,000 RPM here. Just cruising nicely. Everything sounds good, feels good, and we are trimmed down completely. Trimmed all the way down, just running about 2,000 RPM. Boat handles water very nice. That's always something you can tell of a strong hull design. As you accelerate, the boat feels like it grips the water. So we'll speed up here a little bit. Now, we may not reach our top speed simply because the water is extremely cold. A lot of guys will say, you know, when the water's cold, you'll reach a higher top speed. That's true when the thermostat opens up completely. It's just hard to do that if the boat's not completely warm. So we're getting kind of a speed here, trimmed down in the upper 30s. You can see I'm starting to trim up here, kind of let the boat release and get up on plane. So as we do that, we reach over 40, 42 miles an hour, close to 3,000 RPM. So our max speed today is going to be roughly 44, 45 miles an hour. Trimmed up. Right now we're headed into the wind. Everything sounds sharp, sounds tight, runs strong. You'll notice our depth finder here is deep. I get those kind of comments a lot. Our lake's a flooded river, so yes, it's extremely deep. But it's not missing spitting, sputtering, not missing a beat. Throwing off a nice rooster tail. Go and flip it around right here. Steering's nice and smooth. Of course, it's power steering, and the dual prop drive allows for maximum maneuverability. It is very cold as we crank it around. Well, there we are, headed back to put her on the trailer. Okay, we want to pause here for a moment because I know that you wanted to see the engine while we ran it. So we just got done running her pretty hard here. We better come back to neutral. Let's pop up that engine lid and check the oil. Everything sounds good. I mean, it ran stellar. There's nothing to point out or report. So pulling the dipstick here. Billy's gonna help me. Oil looks excellent. No moisture to speak of whatsoever on the dipstick. So we're going to put this back together here. And it's pretty clean in here. Now we're going to put her back on the trailer. So a lot of people struggle putting the boats on the trailers because they get the trailer too deep in the water. So you see how I got our bunks out? So that's about perfect right there. The trailer is made specifically for a 266 Crownline, so as long as you have those bunks up, you can pull up on the trailer and just run yourself right up. Get your bow eye on your roller nice and tight, and then you are done after you winch it up nice and strong. There we go. You put brand new tires on your trailer. You're about to see those. As a spare. Heck, you can even see that sticker on that tire right there. See the sun making a shine line on the top cap. That was cool. Okay, so now we're going to look at the exterior condition. Drive's in good shape. You can see the skag's been touched up a few times. So that's just like calcium and lime there. Right on the tip, there's a little tiny nick. So, it's got the Bravo 3 drive, counter-rotating props. Gel coat's in excellent condition. Right up here to the starboard side, we got some just minor nicks in the rub rail. Looks worse because there's scratches in the, or there's wax, dried up wax stuck in those little scuffs. But the gel coat itself, super shiny. We waxed it for you. So that's just wax overspray. When it was inside, you know, when they're waxing the boat beside it, that'll kind of shoot off. So the graphics up here have some kind of nicks in them. You can always just take those off and remove them entirely. Or have new ones made at like a graphic shop. There's some fine scratches that you can see where they were fixed before, so that's what we call a ghost line. Just a very slight indentation or what was left of one. There's a tiny nick right there. Oh, it's embarrassing. I put it on the boat. But a tiny little nick right there. Coming up to the stem, it looks great.
I'll be back in a minute.
The hull, nice sharp deep V. Nothing bad to report down here at all. Not on the strakes, not on the chines, not on the hull, not on the keel. So up here there's like looks like a rub rail butt end. You could use one right there, but the stem's nice. Now we're going to come around the port side, drop down and look at the hull, chines, keel, lifting strakes, everything looks good. Nothing bad to report over here, and the graphics on this side are about as nice as they could possibly be. So as we walk around here, it's not missing any letters or any badging at all. Now let's jump inside and take a look. Okay, as we jump inside the boat, got some dusty dirt just from my feet crawling in and out of the boat. Some pad is in great shape, and it's original. You can tell by the texture of the vinyl, but the seams and stitching are wonderful. Over here by this cleat, got a slight just stress crack in the top. That's not structural. That is just in the gel coat itself. So the back seat's great. It's always a good place to check, because right there around that seam, sometimes they get tight or start to separate a little bit, but there's nothing bad to report. You also check inside the gunnels, so to make sure the carpet's not peeling off, and that's in beautiful shape on both sides, both port and starboard. So looking at the gunnel here, checking down towards the bottom, looking great. Carpet's super duper clean. Port side captain's chair is in great shape. So it's got the flip up bolster. It is frozen. Okay, so we got storage in the glove box here, grab rails. You got storage in the footrest here. You got a nice grab rail. If someone's a bad driver, inside the head compartment, carpet's nice and clean. Everything looks nice in there. The latches and hinges and slides work good. There's no cracked doors. That's something to check on this model. So your backrests, bow, butt seats, there's no stains or sunburnt discoloration inside the anchor locker. It's hard to do anything when your fingers are freezing cold. It's nice in there. Nothing bad to report. Coming around to the starboard side, so we did the port vinyl, now we're doing the starboard. Same thing here, nothing bad to report. So taking a look at the storage beneath the helm. If we can flip this out, turn, twist, pull towards you. It's got snap-on covers, and these are actually Sunbrella, and hopefully you can see they're nice and blue, nice and bright. I say it's Sunbrella simply because there's a light in there. New styles are called Sure Last, and they sure don't last. They get wet, and then they get dry, and then they fall apart. So that'll last a long time. See if we can get in the ski storage on the floor. Sometimes it's frozen. Nope, no moisture down here. So got a bunch of light poles in case that was a concern to be able to go out at night. You got storage in the footrest for the captain as well. Seams and stitching are great. Vinyl's great. You're probably tired of looking at the helm from all those videos, but I'm going to put your drain plug not in there because I think it'll rattle around. Put it down here in the footrest like so. But wheels in good shape. Gunnels are nice on this side also. So what I'm going to do now is stop for a moment and show you the Bimini top. Alright, so we have the Bimini top open. It's nice crisp blue canvas here too. Nothing wrong in here. What is wrong is the Bimini boot. The zippers junk. So I'm going to drop this off on my way back, because on the way back to our shop is actually the canvas and upholstery place, so they can fix that. I know you wanted to see these open too, so they're fine like that. Now remember never to open these when you're driving, because the wind will catch them and blow out. And the glass is not hard to find, but the metal tracks are almost impossible. I know that from phone calls after the sale when people have done it in my younger days. So these open just fine too. See there? Well, I sure hope that you like what you see. It's cold. I'm sorry I'm sniffling. Remember, when we ship them, we're going to take the top off, and anything that could bend, break, or shake, rattle, and come free. I appreciate the opportunity to work with you, and I hope you enjoy this one, and I hope I sell you another one.